And here we are with the girls' first varsity fours grand final, scheduled for a 4:45 start. We still have several minutes to go. Only 3 teams returning from the grand final last year, with such typically powerful teams such as Newton Country Day and St. Mark's missing out on the grand final this year. In Lane 1, we have Nobles, coming off a 4th place finish last year. Lane 2, Windsor, the 2nd place finisher from last year. Lane 3, we have Groton, missed out. And Lane 4, the returning champions, Deerfield, hoping to capitalize and achieve a three-peat here as the girls' first varsity fours champions, but they'll have to overcome an entire boat turnover with 3 rowers and a coxswain graduating and the 4th rower transferring to public school. In Lane 5, we have Hopkins, who narrowly beat out CRLF for the spot here in this grand final. And in Lane 6, we have Lincoln, the final team. Crews remain sitting easy. There are several minutes to go. Hopefully well hydrated and prepared. This is the 3rd to last race. Will be followed by the boys' first varsity 8's grand final and the girls' first varsity 8 grand final. The top 2 place finishers in this grand final here will be eligible to move on to U.S. Rowing Youth Nationals so long as they choose to go and do not have on their team postgraduate rowers who are not permitted under the U.S. rowing structure. So, still a few minutes to go as the coxswains idly find their points. Not much rush here. They appear to have very good alignment. Not much of a hurry. The sun is coming out again. Might perhaps pose a problem with the fatigue and heat of a long day here up at Lake Quinsigamond. All 6 boats should be well prepared for this entertaining grand final. The starting official here has signaled that there are 5 minutes left to the start, so we still have some time on our hands. 5 minutes sitting here at the start, though, should not pose much of a problem, given the temperature being in the high 80s and the sun out for a fair portion of the day. These crews are very well warm. Won't exactly get cold sitting for 4 or 5 minutes here. They're all hopefully been waiting for this point, the culmination of a long season of training for these schools, all culminating in this day at the New England Interscholastic Rowing Association Championships, held each year here in the beautiful Lake Quinsigamond in Worcester, Massachusetts. With the starting official signaling 4 minutes remaining, these crews are still sitting, some getting slight drink as they mentally prepare and hope for the best, knowing that they have been training many long months, starting in the cold weeks of February or March, all to come up into this 90 degree day in Worcester. Unfortunately, many of these crews don't have the opportunity to race against other scholastic programs in the nation outside of New England, due obviously to the conflicting dates of the Schoolboy Nationals and NEIRA championships. Some crews touching up their points as the 3-minute mark until the start passes. Some crews starting to get their blades squared and locked in, although the majority remain sitting easy. Hopkins here appears to be the only squad with blades squared and readied, although Windsor is getting into that position as well. Hopkins hoping not to be caught by surprise as they were in this morning's heat. And Deerfield, of course, hoping to achieve that wonderful three-peat as champions. They are the two-time returning U.S. Rowing National Youth Champions as well.
2 minutes.
So it should be interesting to see how this shakes out. Despite there being not the top seed coming into this wonderful Saturday, there's still a very strong program. And only 2 minutes remain until the start of this girls' first varsity fours grand final. Over in lane 2, Windsor adjusting their point, getting ready to head down the course. And there is Lincoln adjusting the course ever so slightly, as the crews are now locked into the water, with the exception of Nobles over in lane 1. Nobles not entirely ready, but the other other 4, excepting Lincoln, being ready. It's been a few minutes sitting here, so the crews may be starting to get a little bit antsy, but here we have the starting official calling out the team names as we prepare for the start of this girls' first varsity fours grand final. The countdown start has begun with just 3, 2, 1, and here we have attention row. The girls' first varsity fours grand final has begun. All 6, no one clearly behind as of yet. Still in the early goings with this high stroke rating. A few crews much slower pace. Hopkins noticeably slower stroke rating than Deerfield. And here we have, at about the 100-meter mark, we have Windsor, half a canvas up over Nobles. Nobles cutting into that lead. While in third place, Groton is about 1 seat off of first. Fourth place, Deerfield fighting, but now 4 seats back. And at the 200-meter mark, Windsor in the lead by half a canvas over Nobles. Nobles 1 seat up over Groton. Groton 1 seat up over Deerfield. Deerfield 1 seat up over Lincoln, and Lincoln a canvas up over Hopkins. Windsor here is making a move, attempting to break to some extent Nobles, who is in second place. Nobles now falling to a seat behind, as in third place, Groton still 4 seats behind the second place Nobles. In fourth place, Deerfield still fighting strong, but now 3 seats behind the third place Groton. In fifth place, Lincoln, seat and a half up over the last Hopkins. Windsor now more than 2 seats up over the second place Nobles. Nobles 4.5 seats up over the third place Groton. With about 650 meters down, Windsor 4 seats up over the second place Nobles. Nobles with just a few feet of open water over Groton. Groton losing ground, now just 1 seat up over Deerfield. Deerfield only 1 seat up over Lincoln, who is 4 seats up over Hopkins. At about 750 meters down, Windsor charging ahead, now almost bow to stern, with Nobles in second place. Nobles still maintaining 4 to 5 feet of open water over Groton. Groton staying 2 seats comfortably ahead of Deerfield, though Deerfield losing ground, now only 1 seat ahead of Lincoln. Hopkins rounding it out in 6th place by bow to stern. As we approach the 1,000-meter mark, Nobles is making up some ground. Windsor's lead only 4 seats now, although 3rd place Groton about half a length of open water from 2nd place Nobles. Here in the final 500, Nasser Regatta Point will take over.
Girls' first 4 grand final. It's been Windsor in control through much of the race, about a length up over 2nd place Nobles. And Groton trying to hang in there, with Deerfield looking to make a push as well. Lincoln out in lane 6, not going away. But Windsor in lane 2 continues to press, continues to move forward. Here in the last 500 meters, they have a commanding lead, and will try to hold on to that through the finish. And a tight race for 2nd and 3rd here, with Nobles, Groton, Deerfield, and Lincoln all close with each other. Windsor looking long and strong here as they come into the final few hundred meters. Open water over 2nd place. Nobles holding on to that 2nd place spot, about a length over Deerfield. As Deerfield now trying to fight off Lincoln, about 4 seats up. And it's Windsor crossing the line first, followed in 2nd place by Nobles. And Deerfield in 3rd, with Lincoln and Groton following behind, and Hopkins rounding things out. Next race will be the boys' first 8 grand final. Lane 1, Salisbury. Lane 2, Kent. Lane 3, Brunswick. Lane 4, St. Paul's. Lane 5, BC High. And Lane 6, St. John's.